of his doings. And see, a man is judged by his doings. I'd like for us to go into the book of Joshua. In the book of Joshua, we will read and see how Yahweh is our salvation, and we don't have to worry about the things that will befall the earth, because if Yahweh, as he's giving us in his writings, to know what we and how our ancestors overcame great things. So let us go into the book of Joshua, starting at chapter 1, verse 1. Now after the death of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, it came to pass that Yahweh spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the sons of Israel. Every place that the sole of your feet shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. From the wilderness and to Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea, towards the coming down of the sun, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swore unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the Torah which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whatsoever thou goest. This book of the Torah shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. So this is what Yahweh is saying to him to do. And as we go on, and that is in chapter, and he says, it says, have not I commanded thee, be strong and of good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for Yahweh thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. You understand what I'm saying? So Yahweh is giving Joshua that commandment to go forth and take the land. Let's go to chapter 2, starting at verse 8. And before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof. And she said unto the men, I know that Yahweh is giving you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how Yahweh dried up the waters of the Red Sea for you, when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites that were on the other side of Jordan, Serihah and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt, neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you, for your God is God in heaven above and in the earth beneath. So we're seeing that by the acts of what Yahweh is doing in the earth for Joshua, the nations are hearing this. And she said they melted when they heard this. And we go to Joshua chapter 3, starting at verse 7. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, this day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel, that ye may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. See, this is what he's saying. And we go down to verse 11 to 9. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, come hither, and hear the words of Yahweh your God. And Joshua said, Hereby ye shall know that the living Elohim is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, and the Perizzites, and the Gadgesites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. See, so he's telling them who is going to drive them out. He said, your God is going to do that. He said he's going to drive them out. He says that the living God is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites. So Yahweh God is assuring them that what he's going to do. Let's go down to Joshua chapter 4 and verse 1 to 2. Go. What does it say?
It says, and it came to pass when all the people were clean passed over Jordan, that Yahweh spake unto Joshua, saying, Take you 12 men out of the people, out of every tribe a man, and command ye them, saying, Take you hence out of the midst of Jordan, out of the place where the priest's feet stood firm, 12 stones, and ye shall carry them over with you, and leave them in the lodging place where ye shall lodge this night.
Okay, so he told them to get 12 out of where the priest had stood in the river of Jordan. Why? Because when the people looked at the stones that came, they say they came out of the water. They were big stones. It was 12 of them. And this proved it was to be a memorial, as it says here. Go on and read verse 4. Go ahead.
Then Joshua called the 12 men who he had prepared of the sons of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And Joshua said unto them, Pass over before the ark of Yahweh Elohim into the midst of Jordan, and take you up every man of you a stone upon his shoulder, according unto the number of the tribes of the sons of Israel, that this may be a sign among you, that when your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, What mean ye by these stones? Then ye shall answer them, that the waters of Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. When it passed over Jordan, the waters of Jordan were cut off, and these stones shall be the memorial. These stones shall be for a memorial unto the sons of Israel forever.
There you go. See, so these stones still are there. That's right. See, when we go, Yahweh wanted them to prove. He said, look, man, here's what I'm going to do, and I want y'all to get those stones out, because the stones in the water would be smooth compared to the stones on. So people would look, 12 stones? Okay, you want 12 of them? And they were big stones. Said they just didn't roll over here. So it was to prove that Yahweh God led them through the Jordan River. So let's go to chapter? Let me see. Chapter. We just finished chapter what?
We're on 4.
We're on chapter 4. We read chapter 4. Okay. Let's go to chapter. Still on chapter 5, verse 13. What does it say?
Chapter 4:13 or 5:13?
5:13.
Okay. It says, And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him, with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversity? And he said, Nay, but his captain of the host of Yahweh.
But as a captain of the host of Yahweh,
but as a captain of the host of Yahweh, am I now come? And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, what saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of Yahweh's host said unto Joshua, loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so.
So he said, and let's go to 16 verse 1. Now Joshua was straightly shut up. Now Jericho was straightly shut up because of the sons of Israel. None went out and none came in. You want to finish that?
And Yahweh said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thy hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of Valor. And ye shall pass the city, all ye men of war, and go around about the city once. Thou shalt do 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram horns. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times. And the priests shall blow with the trumpets. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall flat down, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him.
Okay, so who is orchestrating the strategy? Yahweh. You understand? Yahweh. So let's go over to same chapter, verse 26. So Yahweh was with Joshua, and his fame was noised throughout all the country. Was noise throughout all the country. So they was hearing about Joshua because Yahweh God was with Joshua, and what he did, he orchestrated, he sent the angel to tell him what to do. As we go through, let's go to chapter 7, I'm starting at verse 10. Okay, let's go and see, because Yahweh God is with us. It said, and Yahweh said unto Joshua, get thee up. Wherefore lies down thus upon thy face? Israel has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I have commanded them. For they have even taken of the accursed things, and have also stolen, and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore the sons of Israel cannot stand before their enemies, but turn their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except ye destroy the accursed from among you. Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourself against tomorrow. For thus Yahweh God of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. Thou cannot stand before thy enemies until ye take away the accursed things from among you. See, Yahweh can deal with us. We have to be perfect. He said, man, you can't stand before your enemies. He said, I don't even want to be. What did he say? He said, what? He said, I will not be among you. You know, he says that, neither will I be with you anymore. See, he said that. See? So we're seeing that Yahweh God is orchestrating the movement, and in the movement of your life, you got to learn to be perfect. You can't take things like the man stole. Go read the story. He stole. God said, no, you can't do that. Yahweh said, this is to be done this way. Right. Okay, let us go down to chapter 8, starting from verse 9. Okay, chapter 8, starting verse 1.
And Yahweh said unto Joshua, Fear not, neither be thou dismayed. Take all the people of war with thee, and arise. Go up to Ai. See, I have given unto thy hand the king of Ai, and his people, and his city, and his land. And thou shalt do to Ai and her king as thou doest unto Jericho and her king. Only the spoil thereof and the cattle thereof shall ye take for a prey unto yourselves. Lay thee an ambush for the city behind it.
So who's telling them the strategy?
Yeah.
Yahweh. What I'm trying to show you is that no government, no people, when Yahweh came for his people and wanted them to get anything, they got it. Because who made the strategy? Let's go down to verse 8. And it shall be, when ye have taken the city, that ye shall set the city on fire, according to the commandments of Yahweh shall ye do. See, I have commanded you. So who commanded them to put Yahweh? Yahweh, this is what I want to show you. And we go to 18. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, Stretch out thy spear that is in thy hand towards Ai, for I will give it into thy hand. As Joshua stretched out his spear that he had in his hand towards the city, he stretched it out. Who told him to do it? Yahweh. It wasn't Joshua. What I'm showing you is that, why would you worry? When Yahweh come from you, who can stop it? Nobody can stop Yahweh from doing anything. And it says over here, verse 8, 27, only the cattle and the spoil of the city Israel took for a prey unto themselves, according to the word of Yahweh which he commanded Joshua. See, all of this is by what Yahweh told them to do. It says, even down at 35, then was not a word of all that Moses commanded which Joshua read, not before all the congregation of Israel, with the women and with the little ones, and with the strangers that was converted among them. So we can see covenant among them. So we can see that Yahweh God is orchestrating Israel's movement into the promised land. And the men took all their victuals and asked not counsel at the mouth of Yahweh. And what happened? He says, but all the prince said unto all the congregation, we have sworn unto them by Yahweh Elohim of Israel. Now therefore we may not touch them. Showing you the word. This we will do to them. We will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us because of the oath which we swore unto them. See, when you swear and give an oath, you can't do nothing. These people came, you should read this story, they came up and tricked them. And see, they didn't take counsel of Yahweh to ask Yahweh, because Yahweh said, when you go in the land, slay all of them. Anybody that's in that land, slay them all. But the people who got really, they were very intelligent. They said, what we're going to do is go to them, take all our moldy bread and all our old shoes, and tell them that when we heard of their fame, we came, and it was such a long distance, and all this is dried up. So the children of Israel accepted it instead of asking counsel of Yahweh. Okay. And when they found out that they was in the midst, he said, now, y'all will become heaners and drawers of waters and heaners of wood for us. You'll be our servants. So they was in the midst of Israel by an oath. And so you understand what I'm saying? You do just go read the story. I can't read all of it. Okay, so it says, and they answered Joshua and said, because it was certainly told thy servant how that Yahweh thy God commanded his servant Moses to give you all the land and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Therefore we were so afraid of our lives because of you and have done this thing. See, that's what they did. So they came, The story is beautiful because Yahweh, this is telling us that when we do things, we have to, when Yahweh commanded, we have to take count. Because once you give your word, You can't go back. Yahweh is a just God, beautiful God. And the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, slack not thy hand from thy servant. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them into thy hands. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. And Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal all night. So we can see, and it says, and Yahweh discomfited them because Israel, before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter. And Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth Horon, and smote them to Azaki and unto Makkedah. So Yahweh God was doing these things, and they were fighting a lot of nations in that country. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Beth Horon, that Yahweh cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. There were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with sword. So see, Yahweh was fighting for them. Yahweh he was throwing hailstones out of heaven on them. Yeah, but read it. It says that Yahweh cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Yahweh was fighting. See, I'm trying to show you don't have to be afraid of America and none of the rest of these. When Yahweh come to fight for you, they can't stand. You understand what I'm saying? He says, then spake Joshua to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh delivered up the Amorites before the sons of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and has not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that Yahweh hearkened on to the voice of a man, for Yahweh fought for Israel. You hear what I'm saying? Yahweh fought. You see, I'm trying to show you. We mustn't be afraid. Let's go to verse 30. And Yahweh delivered it also, and the king there also, into the hands of Israel. And he smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein, he let none remain in it, but did unto the king thereof as he did unto the kings of Jericho. So Yahweh is fighting for us. Now we're in chapter 10. Let's go to verse 40. So Joshua smote all the country of the hills, and of the south, and of the vale, and of the spring, and all their kings. He left none remain, but utterly destroyed all that breathed, as Yahweh God of Israel commanded. See, Yahweh commanded this. It wasn't nothing of us. He said, and all these kings and all their lands did Joshua take, as one at one time, because Yahweh of Israel fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp to Gilgal. See, Yahweh was doing the fight. It wasn't us. And we at chapter 11, let's go to verse 6. Yeah, see, I want to show you. Yahweh was doing this fighting. It's not us. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Joshua, Be not afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time I will deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt knock their horses and burn their chariots with fire. So Joshua came, and all the people of war with him against them by the waters of Merom, suddenly, and they fell upon them. And Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Israel, who smote them and chased them unto great Zidon, and unto Mesophonomium, and unto the valley of Mesreth, eastward. And they smote them until they left them none remaining.
Okay, see, because he's obeying the voice of his God. And we should be thankful. And as it says, and we'll go on to read chapter 11, verse 15, what does it say?
As Yahweh commanded Moses his servant, so did Moses command Joshua. And so did Joshua. He left nothing undone for all that Yahweh commanded Moses.
Yes, he was a servant. It says, there was not a city that made peace with the sons of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gideon, and all others they took in battle. For it was of Yahweh to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them, as Yahweh commanded Moses. See, so, these things we must read, and we must know the truth that Yahweh is with us. And we mustn't worry about what other people are going to do in the earth. As long as we understand that our God, Yahweh, is with us, let us go forward to do his will and his service. And just like he was with Joshua, he's with the children of Israel in the land of their captivity. We got to keep them commandments. We got to wrestle to do the things that please our God. The Shabbatah, Atniga, the Quadawashah, Yahweh, Makabada, Yahweh Allahayama,
Yahweh Allahayama, Yahweh Allahayama,
the Shabbatah, Atniga, Quadawashah, Yahweh, Makabada, Shama'a, Shallah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Akhada, Yagadallah, Yahweh, Yagadallah, Allahayama, Erwaka, Allahayama, Ashura, Sayura, Palataya, Wakhasadawa, Mataya, the Shabbatah, Atniga, Quadawashah, Yahweh, Makabada, Amana.